Hello, this is Elaine Sugar, award-winning children's program facilitator and overall supporter of children's dreams. Welcome to the Empower Teen Self-Esteem podcast. We bring you ideas and resources that help teens shine and help ease parents' minds. Welcome everyone to this episode of Empower Teen Self-Esteem. Today we are going to be talking about the benefits of teaching children a different language. So today we have an expert with us. We have Barbara Ulmer, and she is going to help us understand all the advantages of teaching children to speak another language. Hello, Barbara. How are you?
Hello, Elaine. I'm wonderful. And yourself?
I am fantastic now that you are here to enlighten us about speaking foreign languages. S-
Excellent.
Yeah, so before we start talking about all of the benefits, can you just tell us a little bit more about Barbara?
Okay, gladly. Well, I was born in Germany
Hmm.
and I studied German, English, and French. I have my master's in all three subjects and I have my own language business for 20 plus years now. I had the
Wow.
opportunity.
I'm sorry I cut you off. You were about to say you had an opportunity?
Yes, I had the opportunity to teach in Oxford, England, and to study in Paris, France, which was amazing. It was so much fun.
You know what? I would take that. Somebody send me to Paris to learn. That sounds fantastic. And I
It
didn't
was.
realize that you had been doing this for so long. So that's 20 years of experience. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, so tell us what are the benefits of this? Why and then also curious, how young do you start teaching the children?
I actually start as soon as a few months. They can really learn really, really early, which is really amazing.
Oh.
Yes.
And so what are some of the benefits? Why should we teach our children a second language?
Well, first of all, with a second language, they develop extra um, knowledge, not only the language itself, but it also helps them later on with mathematics, and the brain develops different new strains as well. And when you are very young, up to the age of 7 or 8 years old, you are able to study a foreign language without any accent, which is absolutely amazing. So it is
Wow.
like,
So you wouldn't have an accent until you are about 7 years old.
yes, exactly.
Wow. And how does that make the learning process go smoother or better? How does that fact that there's no accent until you're 7 impact your ability to learn a language?
It is basically like speaking to your parent, when you're really little.
Uh-huh.
Like people, they have the nanny and she speaks Spanish and she only speaks Spanish to them, and the kids really learn Spanish amazingly. It's really utterly amazing. That's why I have those immersion programs where I only speak the target language. I never speak English. I only speak French or German or whatever they choose. And everything I do in this target language. I make it very playful for the little ones. I use
Aw.
puppets and everything. So it does not even feel like you're learning a language because you're so young, and it just feels like, oh, I'm speaking to this person that speaks this language. They just connected with you.
I love that, and I like the fact that you use puppets. That it's almost like playtime as opposed to class time, right?
Exactly, it's exactly that. And we have a strong German tradition with puppetry. Yeah, we have this main guy who's called Kasperle, and
Uh-huh.
yes, he's very famous, and he always um, goes after the bad guys and is always the hero, and it's really awesome. So it's a tradition, a cultural tradition as well.
That is so wonderful. And so you said when you have the immersion training, if I signed up to take French, then when I get ready for class with you, every single thing you're going to say to me is going to be in French. So you're not going to
Exactly.
say it in English and then, say it to me in French. You're just going to speak French to me.
Exactly.
How in the world am I going to know what you're saying until I learn it.
And that's why I use a lot of visuals, you know? Like I
Okay.
use a lot of flashcards, and that is very important to me because when you keep it bilingual, like if I have a flashcard and I show it in French and English, you always go back to the English. But if it's only the
Okay.
cards connected to the French word, then that's in your mind.
And when you train the children, do the parents also participate in the class, or sometimes it's just you and the child? How does it normally work?
Mainly it's me and the child.
Wow. So the child might be learning the language, so the parents may already know it, or because they're going to soon, their child's going to soon know a language that they won't.
Exactly. It can happen that the parents, for example, say, we have German heritage and I don't speak it anymore, but I want my child to learn it. And
Wonderful.
then I teach the child. And sometimes exactly that happens that the parents then say, I want to speak it too.
Uh
And then
huh.
they take classes also. It happened to me with one family. We started with the daughter, then the
Mm-hmm.
mom joined German, and then the father from Louisiana chose to learn French to freshen up his high school French. So we had two languages in the house, and it was really
Awesome.
fun. Hmm.
Awesome. Now, how about um, what led you to get to this point to teach these languages? How did that come about?
Well, I always was passionate about languages, and since my father is from Nigeria, I wanted to be able to speak to everybody from Africa. So when I was
Okay.
little, I want to learn English and French because if I know those two languages, they are the main languages I can basically speak to everybody. And so
Mm-hmm.
far, that worked out very well.
Good choices, right?
Yes, very good
Yes.
choices because I'm very deeply rooted in my ancestry myself. So it is very important to me that I can do that.
So you talked about the benefits of of starting the children young learning the languages. Suppose you have a teenager and they never learned any other language. How does your approach differ with the teenagers, and is the benefits different for them because by then they have their accent, right? So
That's correct.
how does that change, or what do you adjustments do you make for teenagers?
For teenagers, I change it to the point that we focus on special levels that they can reach that are accepted in Europe. We have like A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2, which is almost mother tongue level. And so they have books, but I still choose books that are only in the target language. And I work with them. And if they don't understand the instruction, I might help them with English, but otherwise we keep it all in German as well.
So you actually give them like a book, and everything in this book is written in German, and they have to read that book.
Exactly. It's like a language book, and you start at zero, and it's really nice because it's focused on the topics of the youth. So it's really
Okay.
interesting, like school, class, hobbies,
Mm-hmm.
friends, all the things they are dealing with. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun. So the topics are really interesting, and I always use newer books. I always update according to what's out on the market. So I have a really good book series for young adults, so to say, and it works really, really well. They're really highly motivated. And oddly enough, it totally depends on the student because pronunciation is so important to me.
Hmm.
And some have really, really nice pronunciation and can almost lose their accent still because they always have it in their ear. That's the strength of the immersion. You know, if you hear it all the time and they
Yes.
hear me without an accent, then that helps them to have no accent as well.
Wow. That is awesome. So, what are some of the challenges your students run into? What's something that if we say, okay, I'm going to take a class with Barbara, what are some of the things you think we should or shouldn't do? What are some of the best things to do, and what are some of the things you don't want to do if you're learning a language? Whether it's for the child that's taking a class or the parents, what advice do you give when you're starting out?
To really focus, do your homework, be in it. It's a bit like playing the piano.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you play the piano and you don't practice, it goes literally away. And it's the
Yeah.
same with the language, especially if you're with yourself. But I also give them great apps because everybody has a cell phone ready now. So
Yes.
they can use the apps where they can, and I really see them do extra time
I'm sorry, Barbara.
voluntarily
You know
because they
what?
enjoy
Your
it.
your video just went out. Say that one more time. You said everybody had a cell phone.
Yes, and so I have this app that really works very well, and my students love it. Not just the 14-year-olds, also the adults. They really take extra time practicing on it, and
Awesome.
it works so well. Like I've taught a pilot, and when he had overtime or overlay, then he would practice his language on his app in between and loved, loved, loved it. So I like to fill the gaps in between my classes with those apps. And then I also suggest to go to Netflix, like I'm a huge movie fan, and
Yes.
just watch a movie in the target language with English subtitles. So
Good
you
idea.
always have the original sound in your ear, and that helps so much.
Nice. I really
Hmm.
like that idea. Now you have the visual the whole time on the screen. So that's a
Exactly.
good idea. Watch
Yes.
watch videos in foreign languages.
Yes, it really inspires you, and then you might be like, it's not even as hard as I thought. So it
Mhm.
takes away the fear as well, and then you sign up at ease.
Yeah, and I also like the fact that if our teens or their parents enroll them to learn another language, that's just something else you're giving them that they can accomplish and feel proud of. It's something that's productive. So I think it's
Exactly.
I think it's fantastic. And who knows when you'll be able to travel to a country, and if you can speak the language, then that's really fantastic.
It makes such a difference. Like in France, especially, the people totally appreciate it when you speak their language. You know, they just open up and warm up. And I think it's in general, you just feel that the other person really cares about you. If
How
you don't
about
just
that?
come for the Eiffel Tower or the Brandenburger Tor, but also
Mhm.
for the language, even if it's just a little bit, you know, a little starter class of 4 weeks before you go on
Oh,
vacation,
good
it's amazing.
idea. Good
Hmm.
idea. So even if you haven't done it all the time, if you know you're going to be traveling, then you
Hmm.
take a course for a few weeks so you can say some things in that language. That makes a lot of sense.
Exactly. And once they hear it and they live the culture, they might want to continue. Many do.
And are there any things that when you are learning a new language that you should not do or you should avoid doing?
To go back into your own language, you should really keep it connected because otherwise you keep translating back and forth, you know,
Yeah.
and then your sentence structure shows. That's
Mm.
then when it's like Denglish, for example, yeah, or Franglish, you know.
Ah, some
And
combination.
exactly, because you can tell, I can tell because I know English too, for example, that it is an English structure. I know exactly where you're coming from, but it's wrong because you cannot think that way. And another thing with adults also is, since we're talking about it, that they tend to um, go ahead fast and they want to have like fancy sentences because, of course, in their own language, they have a high level.
Ah,
And then it gets more difficult. And so I always say, stick to your basic sentences. I know you're on another level, of course, in your own language. You're a
mhm.
business
Mhm.
person, you know,
Mhm.
but stick to your little sentences until you are secure with the structure and then get more and more fancy.
And
That's
then get
very important.
fancy. Yes,
Exactly.
I could see us adults wanting to run ahead and show out before it's time. So we will take that
Exactly.
feedback. We will remember that. Well, you are sharing some wonderful tips with us, and you definitely have made your case as to why we should make sure our children learn more than one language. So I love that. Do you want to tell everyone how they can get in touch with you because you coach online?
Yes, I coach online, and that is amazing because I can teach globally, you know, no matter
Awesome.
where you are, even especially now during the summer months, many people sign up because it's a bit of a little summer program, 1 or 2 months for the kids, since it's such a low learning period and the parents are concerned. And
Yes.
so you train another muscle, the language muscle, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I always say it's like another muscle, you know, and it's just like any other workout. So when you go back to school after the big vacation, you have this extra muscle of a new language or
Awesome.
better language.
That's
Yes.
fantastic. So, why don't you make sure everybody knows how they can get in touch with you?
Yes, my company is BU Language and Learning Center. You can find me on LinkedIn, which also attaches to my webpage, which is BU Language. And those are the best places to really find me. I'm also on Facebook. I have a business page. I'm on Twitter. I'm on LinkedIn. But basically, if you look up BU Language and Learning Center online, you find all the information, including my new YouTube channel as well.
Yes, excellent. So that's BU language. B as in Barbara, U as in Ulmer, and then language.
Exactly.
Perfect. Well,
And then,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
yeah, BU Language and Learning Center is what
Ah,
you would put in your search engine to
uh,
find everything.
okay. Well, I think you'll have some people seeking you out. You made a wonderful case for why we should learn another language. So I want to thank you so much, Barbara, for joining me today. It has been a pleasure. And I am going to wrap up this episode of Empower Teen Self Esteem. Thank our parents and teens for listening. And we will look forward to you joining us for the next episode of Empower Teen Self Esteem. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you for having me. It was an absolute pleasure, and it will encourage the teens because it gives you superpowers, another language.
Yes, that is correct. So, thank you, everyone. Join us for the next episode of Empower Teen Self Esteem. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Empower Teen Self Esteem. Please follow Kids More Sugar on social media. Please do subscribe to our YouTube channel to show that you support this content. And you can visit our website at kidsmoresugar.com to learn more about our free online kids program. Thank you.